It's 5:30, so we'll call to order this meeting for Monday, July 17th. Jordan, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne. Faubourg.
Present.
Liebelt.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
It's a lot of suspense.
Can you guys hear me now?
Councilmember Langer.
Hello? Present.
Norvstrup.
Present.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve this week's agenda. I understand we've got a modification. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, would propose to the group that we rescind or remove agenda item 7A under new business. Second.
I've got a motion from Councilman Johnson, a second from Councilman Reinbold to approve this week's agenda with an amendment, which would be to eliminate new business item A. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next will be the approval of minutes from the last meeting, which took place on July 10th, just last Monday. I get a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Faubourg and a second from Councilman Reif. Any adjustments or changes that anyone has spotted in our packet as it relates to those minutes? All right then, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. I didn't see anyone here to sign up for our open forum, so we'll move right along to our consent calendar where we've got 6 items of routine city business and a reminder that you may abstain from a portion of this consent calendar and only vote for the remainder. I would take a motion to approve our consent calendar as printed.
So moved.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. Anything from the council before we take our vote? All right then, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed,
Aye.
nay. Motion carries. One item of old business on our agenda here tonight. We've got a second reading and final adoption of an ordinance which is titled 230701 and amends the city's code regarding snow removal. City Attorney Ron Wager walked us through that last week. Ron, anything of note?
Mr. Mayor, I have heard no comments this past week regarding this ordinance and would, the city staff would recommend approval for second reading.
All right, thank you.
Move to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilwoman Liebelt. Does anyone have anything to contribute to this conversation that we didn't mention last week? All right, then this will be the second reading and final adoption. If passes, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Faubourg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. We'll move along to our new business where we'll begin with a possible approval of a change order title number 3 for negative $8,750.95, as well as a payment title number 5 in the amount of $10,568.25 to B&B Contracting, both for the Klein Street Storm Sewer Improvement Project, which we largely undertook last summer. Is that correct, Robin? What can you tell us about it?
That's correct. The work that remained last fall was to try to clean up boulevards and do some of the seeding and those types of things. That now has been accomplished. They are asking for payment of that, and at this point, we're still retaining 10% retainage. So, asking for payment and approval of the change order.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion, Councilman Reif, second, Councilman Reinbold. So in a situation like this, they'll just get the difference, the 10,000 and the 8,700.
That's right.
Any questions or comments from the council as it relates to these two payments? All right then. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we've got our approval of a payment number one and final in the amount of $42,499.12 to Rice Lake West for final lift station screw pump repair. Robin, what can you tell us about that endeavor?
If you recall right, we were working very hard to make sure we kept this under $100,000. Without tearing it apart first, we didn't know how deep things were gonna go as far as the repair went. The contractor did an awesome job with the supplement of our staff. We helped where we could. We supplied some materials for it, and we were able to do it for $42,499, which I think is that's a win for us, so we're happy.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilwoman Liebelt, and I imagine that this ties directly with our booster station pump bid that we have in our consent calendar?
No, that would be on the water side. This particular one is on the sanitary sewer side.
Got it. Sorry for the miscommunication there. Any questions from anyone on the council as it relates to the payment to Rice Lake?
I think congratulations for doing it for half of what you thought it would. That's good.
No kidding. It's always good to be pushing them in that direction. Well then, since it's a payment, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on this approval?
Councilmember Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we've got our possible approval of a proposal on the AIP GA apron reconstruction project for acceptance testing services quality assurance for the P501 concrete in the amount of $35,052 submitted by Aaron Swan and Associates, as well as to authorize our city manager to sign that documentation. And here we have Transportation Director Rich Krokel. Rich, welcome.
Yep, this is for, as you stated, concrete testing for P501. The company's Aaron Swan, and I talked to you about Aaron Swan Company last week. We'd approved a 5-year agreement with them, and this one is for $35,052.
Move to approve this proposal.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. Anything else from the council or questions for Mr. Krokel? All right, then, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on that proposal, please?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye. Next, we've got our possible approval of the proposals on the AIP Runway 1331, which rehabilitation and lighting improvements project for acceptance testing services quality assurance. Also for the P501 concrete, these amounts are for $21,336, as well as testing the P401 asphalt for $24,470, also from Aaron Swan and Associates, as well as necessary signature to by our city's manager. Rich?
Yep, again, this is for quality control testing, both for concrete and asphalt that we're putting down out on the runway by Aaron Swan, and asking for the city manager to be authorized to sign.
Move approval for both proposals. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson, second from Councilman Reif. Any other questions as it relates to these two proposals? All right, then, Jordan.
Councilmember Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Rich, while you're up there, the next agenda item is a possible approval of payments for the work on our airport. We've got 6 of them today. We've got a payment to Helms for $58,198.90. We've got a payment to Sharp Enterprises for $506,432.88. We've got a payment to Helms for $989.78. A payment to Helms for $25,504.02. A payment to Ephraimson Electric for $43,694.10. And finally, payment to Reedy Construction for $196,795.35. So, Rich, I didn't get into the details as it was printed because I expected that you'd probably walk us through some of those details. Rich, what can you tell us about those payment requests here tonight?
I will do that. Item F1, payment number 17. That's for our current GA apron reconstruction project, phase 1. That's for Helms and Associates, $58,198.90, and that's for construction, administration, and observation services. That project is funded at 95%, 2.5%, and 2.5%. Line F2, payment number 2, AIP 47, also the GA apron reconstruction project, phase 1. That is for Sharp Enterprises, $506,432.88, and that's for work completed to date, and that is funded at 95, 2.5, and 2.5. Line item F3, payment number 3 to Amendment 1 of AIP 49, that's the runway 1331 rehabilitation and lighting improvements project to Helms and Associates for $989. That is bidding services, and that's 100% complete, so we won't see this one again. And that is funded through bill at 95, 2.5, 2.5. Item number F4, payment number 4 for AIP 49, runway 1331, lighting rehabilitation, Helms and Associates for $25,504.02. That's for construction, administration, and resident engineering services. That project is funded at 90%, 5 and 5. Line F5, pay estimate 1B is AIP 49, runway 1331, lighting and improvements, and that's for Ephraimson Electric, $43,694.10, and that's for materials and work completed to date. That was funded at 90%, 5 and 5, and that is AIP. And finally, F6, pay estimate number 1A for project 50, runway 1331, lighting and the rehab. That's to Reedy Construction, and that's for $196,795.35, and that's for materials and work completed to date. And that project is funded through bill, and that's at 95 and 5%.
I'll move approval for all 6 payments.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. Anyone from the council have anything to contribute as it relates to any of these payments or projects? All right, Jordan?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Finally, thank you for joining us, Rich. Finally, we have our review and approval of our bills and payroll. We've got bills listed for this week, July 17th. Payroll pay period is from July 2nd through the 15th. I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the bills.
Second to approve the bills.
We got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilwoman Liebelt. Anything from the council before we take our vote?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Josh.
Jordan, I haven't seen payroll on this. I'm a little, not that it's a huge deal, I just see the bills. My daughter's coaching T-ball, and I want to make sure I abstain if I have to.
Sure, so the payroll period, The payroll is in process for that period, and the amounts are approved at an estimated amount. Joe, could you elaborate on that?
It is for the past 2 weeks, so if you have anyone that you think worked from July 2nd through the 15th, you could just abstain.
Okay.
For safety.
All right. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote then, please?
Councilmember Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
I abstain from any payments made to Gracie Rife.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, as it relates to the payroll, but I will abstain from the bills here tonight, although both bills and payroll will pass with the necessary votes necessary, and so the motion does carry. We'll move along to our city manager's report, where Joe will share some of the ongoings of the city's business. Joe?
Yes, thank you. We're in July, which is usually the toughest month, one of the toughest months, because it's where we're finalizing the budget and making the budget cuts, as I would call it, really to balance the general fund. And I think it's just important to kind of share along the way how this goes. But in June, or really in May, the department heads put together their list of what they see as important in the next year. We review those in June, and then in late June, Jordan goes through and does all the revenue and the expense estimates and puts them together, and they never match right out of the gates, amazingly enough. And it seems like some years are worse than others. This one, early projections looked like we were going to have to cut at least $1 million out of the request, maybe a little more. If there's any good news in that, it was right around $1 million, not a little more. And we're getting real close. We're looking at those final projections now. I'm starting to draft my budget message. Here August 7th, we'll bring you your books and give you the budget message. But things are looking pretty good. Not quite as bad as they were, but just the thought of cutting $1 million, if that sounds painful, it is. It is a little bit. We've been doing this process, at least the way we're doing it now, with department heads for 3 years, and it puts it back in their court to balance the budget, and they've gotten really good at it and very responsible, and I feel positive with where the budget's going coming forward. And then let's share the July employee milestones. Couple reasons for doing it now. One, we had 3 that hit milestones, and it's all been in the past 3 days. So we got through those pretty quick. But over the weekend, we had a 5 years, Amanda Camphouse in finance. 10 years happens to be here, Jordan McQuillan. And 15 years, Luke Nelson in the fire department. And maybe not a round number, but since they're here, and maybe you could tease them after the meeting if you want. But tomorrow is Robin Bobzine's 29th year. He starts year 30. So that's great news, and we'll be able to celebrate that a little more next year. But I thought you might want to know. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Joe, and thank you to the employees who've reached your milestones, Jordan, Amanda, Luke, and of course, Robin. So appreciate that effort out of all of you. And if anyone else has nothing from the council, I would take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Councilwoman Liebelt, second, Councilman Reinbold. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Motion does